Abuja. A wave of unspeakable grief and outrage has swept across the Dawaki community in Abuja, Nigeria, following the brutal murder of Mrs. Sarah Chinyere Lawrence, a school nurse known for her kindness, and her 14-month-old son, David Lawrence. The woman who spent her life nurturing others died at the hands of the very person she once fed and trusted, Augustine Itodo, a security guard assigned to protect her. A life of care ended by betrayal. Until her untimely death, Mrs. Sarah Chinyere Lawrence lived a life rooted in compassion, service, and quiet resilience. A devoted nurse at Clear Hope Foundation Academy in the Dawaki area of Abuja, Sarah was more than just a medical professional. She was a caregiver, a friend, and a gentle soul known by colleagues and parents alike for her warm smile and unwavering support. Whether tending to scraped knees or comforting anxious children, she approached her duties with the calm dedication of someone who had found her purpose. Her days were filled with healing, with soft words and kind gestures, often reaching into her own pocket to help others. She had a reputation for generosity, sometimes giving lunch money to the school support staff, including the very security guard who would later betray her. The horrifying incident took place on July 23, 2025, within the premises of Clear Hope Foundation Academy, where Sarah worked and where her 14-month-old son David occasionally accompanied her. They were brutally murdered in a betrayal so deep it shook the community to its core. The perpetrator, Augustine Itodo, a school security guard entrusted with protecting students and staff, confessed to the chilling crime alongside his accomplice, Brown Daniel. Augustine and Brown had devised a scheme to abduct the nurse and her child for ransom, initially demanding 250 million Nigerian nairas, and ultimately collecting 3 million Nigerian nairas. But money wasn't enough to satisfy their cruelty. Augustine, in a recorded confession, revealed how he lured Sarah to a bathroom on school premises under false pretenses. Waiting inside was Brown, who ambushed and strangled her with a rope. Her son, an innocent toddler barely walking, was later murdered as well. Augustine claimed it was Brown's insistence, arguing that the baby's survival would compromise their ransom. Perhaps the most gut-wrenching part of the confession came when Augustine, reflecting on the nurse's last acts of kindness, said, "That very day, she gave me 300 Nigerian nairas to buy food. She used to help me, even before then. She was so nice and good to me." This woman, who had gone above and beyond her professional duties, who had treated even the security guards with dignity, was slaughtered by the very people who smiled at her at the gate. The horror didn't end there. After collecting the ransom money, the two criminals fell out. Brown turned on Augustine, stabbing him and fleeing with the money. Bleeding and weakened, Augustine crawled to a nearby house for help. But fear clouded his conscience and he confessed, though he initially withheld the full truth out of fear of being attacked by angry mobs. It wasn't until the police intervened and took him to the hospital that the full extent of the crime was laid bare. Piece by piece, Augustine opened up, reliving the murder of a woman who had shown him nothing but kindness. In one day, a nurse who had dedicated her life to nurturing others, and an innocent child who had just begun to discover the world, were taken in the most brutal fashion. Not by strangers, but by men they likely saw every day. By a man paid to protect. Now, a community grieves. A family mourns. And a profession stands diminished by the loss of one of its brightest lights. The Clear Hope Foundation Academy is temporarily shut. Parents are devastated, teachers broken, and the community enraged. Many recall seeing Sarah smiling just days before, laughing in the school hallways or cradling her baby outside the classrooms. No one could have imagined the storm that was brewing behind the school gates. The body of the nurse and her baby was put into a sack, transported using a scavenger cart, and later dumped into a canal. Augustine took the police to the location where the remains were recovered and buried. The second suspect, Brown Daniel, remains on the run. The FCT Command Police have already launched a manhunt and urged the public to report any leads that could lead to his arrest.